being able to find a resource and a geography within a location that talks to its symbolic and remunerative qualities. So in this first piece here, predictive engineering, it talks about the place of the museum as site and locator of architecture and the body. Artwork has always been a passageway piece, going to another location within the architecture of the museum. So in the same way, in 1993, 1998, and now 2016, the piece continues to function as a hallway piece. So it's a corridor. The lighting here, for example, it's just an archetypal museum spotlight, but it's the color of amber. And these first screens here are the old predictive engineering from 93 and 98. The light was used to think about the idea of images stuck in amber, in objects stuck in amber. The period of time then is suggested by the coloring of the light. So these are old images. So each iteration of the piece predictive engineering includes the forebears, the grandma, the great-grandma of the new piece, which is predictive engineering 3. So it's like the baby sharing the DNA of the museum, not just the artist's input, blabbing away. So here you have an old script from 1993 from Scala, which is a program that controls text over live images. The reason for this was there were 2 separate hallways with 2 side-by-side monitor screens. One screen had the words of like a computer talking. The other was like a live guard. So the text was actually quite different. But now here in this iteration, you see the text of the computer voice and the human voice combined. As in the other iterations of PE, you can set off sensors and work yourself into the piece by being recorded and by making audio interventions into the microphone. So this voice is my voice. It can also be your voice. Looking at the screens, you wouldn't know what was real or what was fake. The idea being, from the 90s, that no one could tell if surveillance was real or fake, or in fact, what was surveillance? Now that everyone knows, it's kind of a moot point. But the piece is an old one, so I maintain the mix, real and fake. Hollywood or not Hollywood? Suppressive fascistic control or pure fun, which is out of control? Here in this space, the mirror reflects and doubles your own image, mixed in with the camera feeds, so that you'll be recorded back into the piece and become part of the mixture for future iterations. I love the building, and I wrote up a whole thing about what the museum means to me over 30 years and what it meant as an organizing principle of life, not just culture, and what that means to the future. And I think the architecture is addressing many of those points, and also the fact that the vision for the museum is a multi-use, multi-generational use, and it's also about making art, not just preserving it and holding it, so that rich benefactors can give their seed money and young artists can bring their seeds of imagination and cultivate their own projects here. Maybe in the future, no one will have a studio, and then maybe the museum is that locator, that place that is saved for people, for all people. They still target art as something to destroy when there's a war. So there's something so valuable in having this wonderful new museum. This museum has made great efforts to discover new ways of thinking, constructing, filter, getting rid of them, building new ones that accommodate the world as it is today. Problematic of a filter is a long-standing one, biological, political, landscape, religion. But the museum's open, finding new ways and new kind of iterations of what new spaces might be and what those spaces need. Life. What does the world need? Needs more life. Needs more art.